Barron Trump, once the quiet member of the family, has surprised everyone with a bold new move. For years, he stayed out of the spotlight, letting his famous family take center stage. But now, something has shifted. What could have inspired him to finally speak out after all this time? Has he found his voice at last? Or is this just the start of something bigger? The moment has come, and people are left wondering what lies ahead for the youngest Trump. Barron has always been quietly intriguing to me. Unlike his older siblings, who were confident, outgoing, and loved being in the public eye, Barron chose a different path. His presence was marked by silence and subtlety, which is unusual for a child from one of the world's most high-profile families. But before we continue, we'd love for you to hit the subscribe button if you're enjoying this video. If you just did, we truly appreciate it. Now, let's get back to the main content. While the rest of the Trump family has thrived publicly, Barron remained reserved. The difference is clear. His early years were more private and calm, in contrast to Ivanka, Donald Jr., and Eric, who grew up accustomed to the spotlight. Even though he lived in iconic places like Trump Tower and the White House, Barron didn't draw attention to himself. Unlike his brothers, who were always appearing on TV, attending political events, or featured in glossy magazines, Barron preferred to stay behind the scenes. When he did appear in public, he often stood apart, his expression unreadable and distant. This rare glimpse sparked many questions. Was Barron simply quiet by nature? Did his silence reveal something deeper? Or did his family, particularly Melania Trump, deliberately shield him from the chaos of fame? Many believe Melania worked hard to give him a normal childhood. Known for being protective, she prioritized his privacy, even during her time as First Lady. Unlike his siblings, who were quickly immersed in the family business or political campaigns, Barron was largely kept out of the public eye. Some think Barron is naturally more introverted. Not everyone wants to be the center of attention, even if their family is famous. For him, the constant buzz around the Trump name might not have been appealing. Perhaps he wanted a quieter life focused on his own interests rather than fulfilling others' expectations. Despite his quiet nature, people continue to be fascinated by him. And now, with recent changes, Barron's presence feels even more compelling. When someone usually silent makes a move, it catches people's attention. Observers look to his facial expressions, body language, and how he interacts with his family to get a sense of who he really is. Barron's silence offers a stark contrast to his outspoken brothers. Their voices dominate headlines, but his name stands out precisely because he doesn't say much. In a world that loves noise and attention, Barron remains an intriguing mystery, a calm presence in one of the loudest families on the planet. How does someone raised under silence and constant scrutiny decide to break free and reshape their role in the spotlight? Why did Barron Trump choose to speak out now? His life shifted dramatically when he turned 18. After years of remaining quiet in public, the world no longer saw him as just the youngest kid living in a famous family. Becoming an adult brought with it new responsibilities and pressures. For Barron, this milestone wasn't just about age, it carried a lot of weight. Turning 18 is significant for everyone, but for him, it also came with heightened stress. As the youngest Trump, every move, word, and even silence had been analyzed closely since childhood. When he was younger, his silence could be dismissed as just part of growing up or not fully understanding the world. But now that he was an adult, those excuses no longer applied. He had to decide who he wanted to be in the public eye. His family dynamics likely influenced his decision to finally speak. The Trump family is known for being outspoken. His older siblings, Eric, Donald Jr., and Ivanka, have been active and vocal in their father's business and political life for years. Barron had always been the outlier. As he got older, the gap between him and his siblings probably felt more pronounced, and the expectations heavier. Maybe his family wanted him to take a stand on something, Or maybe he felt compelled to break his silence because of tensions within the family. But it wasn't just family matters at play. The world outside was also a factor. Politics move fast, but the Trump name remains constantly in the headlines. These external pressures might have pushed Barron toward this moment. He may have been driven to speak out about a public issue, political event, or a personal experience that connected with larger conversations happening around him. What's fascinating is that this moment didn't just come out of nowhere. Over the past year, Barron had been making more public appearances, and with each one, he seemed to gain more confidence and recognition. His demeanor shifted. He appeared more self-assured. Small details, like his mannerisms or casual interactions caught on camera, hinted that he was preparing to step out of the shadows. When Barron finally spoke, it felt like the culmination of years of silence. Having absorbed so much throughout his life, he now realized he had a voice, and it was time to use it. This was more than just a moment for Barron Trump. It marked a turning point in his search for identity in a world that had long expected him to remain quiet. Then came the statement that stunned everyone. Though brief, Barron's words carried undeniable impact. People listened closely, surprised by the clarity and directness. There was no ambiguity in what he said. Yet it wasn't just the content that resonated. It was the fact that he spoke at all. News outlets scrambled to analyze every phrase, each word dissected for meaning. Social media buzzed with reactions ranging from admiration to shock. Some saw it as a declaration of independence, a young man stepping out from his father's shadow. Others viewed it as a challenge to the Trump family's traditional values and alliances. No matter how people interpreted it, Barron's voice was no longer a quiet whisper. It had arrived loud and clear. The big question on everyone's mind was this: was Barron's statement a personal conviction or an act of rebellion? Had he simply decided it was time to voice his own thoughts, or was he trying to carve out a separate identity from his father's legacy? Considering the timing, it could be a bit of both. Turning 18 might have felt like the perfect moment for Barron to redefine himself, embracing new freedoms and responsibilities. At the same time, the words he chose seemed loaded with deeper meaning, as if he was sending a message more to his family than to the public. Now, what about the family's reaction? Publicly, there was almost complete silence. No official comments, no social media posts, just a quiet void that only fueled more speculation. But behind closed doors, it's hard to imagine the conversations that were taking place. Did his brothers see his move as courageous or as a betrayal? How did his father react? Was he indifferent, upset, or perhaps quietly proud? Those familiar with the inner workings of the Trump family had plenty of theories, sparking endless discussions. The media frenzy that followed was intense. Barron's statement dominated headlines for days, with experts debating its significance. Was this a pivotal moment in the Trump family saga? Did it signal a shift in the family's power dynamics? News anchors, bloggers, and influencers couldn't stop analyzing his tone, the context, and even the punctuation of his words. Barron had always been an observer, but suddenly, he became the center of a global conversation. For years, people wondered what Barron Trump truly believed and how he viewed the world. Now, with just a few words, he answered, and the world couldn't stop talking. What happens when the quietest member of a powerful family finally speaks up? Could it change everything we thought we knew? Only now, as Barron begins to speak out, is the world starting to grasp just how profound his quiet nature really was. His years of silence weren't simply a phase. They shaped the person he has become. During that time, he deliberately stayed away from the chaos, carving out his own identity in a family known for being outspoken and bold. Barron Trump's recent statement sent shockwaves through the Trump family, catching everyone off guard. It wasn't just a remark. It marked a pivotal moment that shifted the family dynamics and changed how they functioned together. This unexpected move didn't just surprise the public, it stirred tension behind closed doors at the Trump household. Barron's words seemed to have sparked a change in the family's behavior. Growing up in such a famous family is challenging, and Barron spent much of his life out of the spotlight. But once he found his voice, people began to question what was really happening. Was this a call for individuality, a reaction to years of silence, or a bold act of rebellion? Whatever the motivation, the family immediately felt the ripple effects. If Donald Trump had been present, he would likely have viewed the situation very differently. As a prominent figure who carefully managed his family's image, the former president has always controlled the narrative about their lives. Barron's statement came at a critical moment and could be seen as a challenge to that control. Would Donald view it as a threat to his authority or as a sign of Barron's newfound independence? Maybe both. Barron's voice was clear and unmistakable, even if it altered the way people perceived the family. Whether Donald Trump welcomes his son's growing confidence or worries about its consequences remains uncertain. How much this causes division within the family may also depend on the reactions of Barron's older siblings. Ivanka, Donald Jr., and Eric have long been in the public eye and actively involved in the family business. The future of the family's relationships could hinge on their response to Barron's remarks. When the youngest family member suddenly tells a different story, do they embrace it as a sign of growth or find it unsettling? The Trump family name carries significant weight. Their public image has always been part of a larger narrative, from Donald's business empire to his presidency. Their success has largely depended on presenting a united front. Now, with Barron's comments causing a stir, the image they have worked so hard to build could either improve or unravel. How will people remember Barron's actions? Will they see him as courageously fighting for freedom or as defiantly breaking from tradition? Only time will reveal how the Trump family and Barron himself navigate this new chapter. What happens when the quietest Trump finally breaks his silence? Could Barron's bold step redefine the family's future? After Barron's recent statement, one question dominates. Is this a permanent shift in how he expresses himself? For most of his life, Barron remained largely invisible while his family thrived publicly. His outspoken comment made it clear he's ready to stand out, even if it means altering how both his family and the public view him. Is this the start of a new direction for Barron? Many wonder what comes next. Will he follow in his father's political footsteps? Or will he seek to escape the media frenzy and build an entirely different life? Despite the Trump name's deep roots in American politics, Barron has a unique opportunity to forge his own path, free from the rigid expectations that shaped his father's journey. Will he choose a quieter, more private life, or continue the family legacy? Barron's decision to speak out reflects a broader trend among young people today, challenging old rules and striving for independence and individuality like never before. Barron's recent public actions seem to reflect his desire to carve out his own identity, separate from the shadow of his famous family. It makes us think about how even those born into privilege and power are beginning to question what their futures really mean. For Barron, this could mark the beginning of a whole new chapter in his life. His voice, once barely heard, is now impossible to overlook. He used to appear only briefly at family events, almost like a quiet observer. This might be the turning point where Barron starts to discover who he truly is, changing the way people perceive him. Will he continue to stand up for what he believes in, or will he retreat back into the quiet life he once led? Naturally, opinions vary on what Barron should do next. After all, many have watched from the sidelines for years, waiting for him to finally speak up. So what does this mean for Barron moving forward? Will this moment remain a one-time statement, or is he gearing up for a more public role? The world is eager to see what he does next, and whatever path he chooses will undoubtedly draw significant attention. Will he make more public comments following this bold declaration? It's hard to say for sure. Having spent so much of his life out of the spotlight, Barron might embrace a more vocal presence, or he might simply return to his quieter ways. But one thing is clear: this could be the start of a brand new story for him. His actions have the potential to influence how people view the future of the Trump family for years to come. Whether Barron remains behind the scenes or steps into the public eye could shape the family's legacy in profound ways. He's opened the door to new opportunities, and only time will tell where they lead. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the next video on your screen for more great content. Thanks again.